All right. Happy Friday to everybody. Thank you so much for being here today on this lovely Friday and tuning in to the Coach's Corner. And for all you guests, we're extremely excited to have you this morning. And I always like to open it up on a morning because I know we got several guests joining us. This is something that me and Coach Myra Miles, listen, I've known Coach for my whole life, okay? And, I was a coach myself. And so when we went through this time of quarantine where the world was locked down, we kind of got together and said, let's do something. Let's do something in the morning on Zoom of just 10 to 15 minutes of just pure positivity, and we started and we talked about it and we said, let's pick a word for the day. And that's what we've been doing over the last several weeks. And you guys have just been a tremendous, tremendous power source for us being here every morning and all the guests that are tuning in. And this is just across the board. It's just meant for all of us, no matter what walk of life we're going through or we're in or what profession we're a part of. Raise your hand if it's been impactful for you to be here over the last couple of weeks. I know for me it's been very impactful.
Absolutely, Coach.
Mentally, my positivity and broadening my network with you guys has just been unbelievable. So we're going to kick off this Friday with a treat for you. Last Friday, Coach Patrick Murphy from the University of Alabama joined us, and wow, how many of you loved that 10 or 15 minutes that he shared with us? And this morning, as he was talking, I knew who I was going after for this Friday. And I said, so this gentleman that I'm going to introduce he is absolutely like a brother to me. He's the person that if you had to crawl in the foxhole and you wanted to take somebody with you, Coach Myra Miles is definitely that person. And this guy is definitely that person. He's got your back and he's a dear friend of mine. But he's a winner. He's a winner at everything he does. And I just have to say, you're listening to a guy that took over a program that was brand new, like unheard of. And he went in and he made it. He made it a state champion program. A guy that has played and won state championships. You're going to hear from him this morning from the state of Alabama, Coach Darrell Higgins. Coach, thanks for being here with us this morning.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's no way I can follow up Pat Murphy. I mean, you're talking about one of the legends of college softball, and he's just been unbelievable. But I'm glad to be here and excited about it. And for all of you that know Brent, he's been a tremendous friend of me. Just somebody that I've got a lot of great respect for and everything he does. And Myra Miles, I mean, just one of the great names in Alabama of somebody that's been very successful and a winner. And so what y'all are doing here is tremendous. And I understand you give away a book. Is that something you do? And so a book that I would highly recommend that I just got through reading, Denise Willingham. She teaches with me at Marcel, and she gave this to me. She said, I think you'd really enjoy this. It's called Unbroken, and it's about a guy named Louis Zamperini that was on his way to the Olympics and ended up in World War II and found himself out stranded in the ocean on a raft. You talking about resilient, 47 days on a raft out in the ocean and live to tell about it. And so tremendous book. If you want to look at somebody that's resilient and somebody that overcomes a lot, it's a great story of Unbroken. So I'd highly recommend that. But
Coach, I know, and I'm going to turn it back to you. I know me and you talked the last couple of days and we pick a word, and this is where the book came from. And I am going to give a copy away at the end. Okay. So stay around at the end. We're going to give somebody a copy of the book Unbroken. But one of the things that when I look at you, Coach, the word that you said, hey, what word? Give me a word. And I said, Coach, your picture could be beside the word resilience. And I said, so the word for today is resilience, but I'm going to let Coach take it over. And Coach, again, thanks for taking your time this morning to be with us here at the Coach's Corner.
Well, thank you, and I'm excited and hope I can share some things, that's helped me to build and do some things. And I don't know, a lot of you probably don't know me or know anything about me. I'm going to tell you a few things I've been fortunate enough to be a part of and do, and a lot of it is just being at the right place at the right time. But as a coach, one of the things when we start a season is we always want to try to compete for a championship. And that's something that's a goal for everybody, but not a lot of people are able to do that. It's just very difficult, Coach, to be able to get to the last game and do that. And I've been fortunate enough to be a part of 10 state championships. I think that's probably as much as anybody in the state of Alabama. And so, a guy that really nothing special at all about me. I've been fortunate to be a part of 10 state championships, and that's something I really start every year hoping to be able to do. Another thing, back when I was younger and in college, I used to fight in tough man competitions. It was something I saw a poster one time out, go win $1,000 fighting in a tough man competition. Didn't really know what I was doing, but got in there and just was able to box and scrap and stay alive and figured out a way. If you get in shape and work a little bit and do it, you got a chance. And I won 10 of those and started traveling around when I was younger with a guy named Butterbean. He's turned into a big-time tough man champion, and he was the heavyweight, and I was the middleweight, and we would travel around and do these things together. And a little later in life, I went out to Hollywood and got to go to the Price is Right show. And next thing I know, I hear him say, "Darrell Higgins, come on down." And I got on the Price is Right show and was able to get all the way to the end and win the Showcase Showdown. And then when I was younger, one time, I'll tell you all a little more about this, but I won $1,000 on bottle caps when I was in elementary school with the Pepsi Challenge. And so sometimes you just got to be there. You got to be in stuff. Everybody wants to win, but you got to get in the game. And so for me, I had never been scared. I've probably lost a whole lot more than I've won, but I've always tried to get in there, and whatever it is, I wanted to get in and be involved in it, because you got to be in it to win it. So on the championships of football, unfortunately, I was on the losing end of 7 of them. So I was part of 10 of them. I've been on the losing end of 7 of them, and a lot of people, will say, "Man, you get there, and what's it like to lose it?" I said, "Well, you know what? You got to be there, and to be able to be in it, and whether you win, whether you lose, a lot of times it's the journey." And I think when we're in life, we worry about the end result so much. But if we look at the journey, what it takes to get there, the memories you make, the lessons you learn, the life experiences, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so the journey of being the best you can be is a big part of what we're doing. I think what shaped me, if I look back, I was thinking back about this last night, is one of my first childhood memories. We moved from a nice little place where I didn't have many neighbors to a nice little neighborhood over in the east side of Florence. Myra, Brent, I think some of you people from Florence might know that's called the East Hill back in those days. And it was kind of a tough place to grow up. Well, fortunately for me, which turned out to be unfortunately, I had a cousin over there that my mom and dad, introduced me to. I was 6 years old. He was in the 5th grade, and that was the only guy I knew. And so when we'd go out and play games, it was me, him, and all these 5th and 6th graders that turned out to be a bunch of big old bullies. And unfortunately for me, I had blazing red hair and freckles all over the place. And so I was called every name you could think of. I was picked on. I was pushed around. I was chosen last for every game that we ever had. But I wanted to be a part of that group so bad. I came back every day, every single day, took my beatings, took my torture, went through the name calling, and was bullied and pushed around. And I just kept showing up. And I wanted to be a part of that group so bad. I wanted respect. And every game we played, I fought, I competed, I battled. And about a year later, I started earning some trust, started getting picked earlier, started being part of the group. And these are some things that I think, helped me as far as life lessons that, one, these guys knew I could be counted on. No matter what was going on, they could count on me. The other thing they knew is if I was on your team, I was going to give it all I had. No matter what was going on, I was going to go to the end, and I would never, ever stop trying. And I think those things kind of shaped who I am and what I stood for. Even when I was young, right there, kind of built my, I guess, my mindset of, how I want to do things. And I never was the biggest, never was the best, never was the best looking or whatever it was, but I was always in there and trying to win. And then I think back, I told you I won $1,000 on a Pepsi challenge. You had to spell Pepsi Spirit with bottle caps. Well, my dad owned a little convenience store, and I was the kind of the stock guy, the guy that worked in the back of the cooler, putting all the drinks in there and doing that. And this was when we had the old bottle caps, kind of like this, but it was a bottle, and you could open it up, and in the bottle had a letter. So you could pull off the little seal in there, and you saw the letter. And if you was getting a Pepsi Spirit, you had to spell all the letters. Well, the R was the letter that I couldn't get. And so I figured out if I could open up those bottle caps, look, and then put them back on there, that it'd be a way for me to go through more without having to buy all of them. And so I started doing that back in the back of the cooler. And so this turned out to be one of the best days of my life, but also one of the worst days of my life at the same time, because I went to school that day, and we went to the store at school, and I was opening up the bottle caps for all the kids, and I got the letter I needed, the R, to win the Pepsi Spirit. I won the competition, but the same day I was so excited, my dad figured out, boy, you've been opening up all them drinks in the back, because one of the customers said all the drinks were flat that he'd been getting. So it kind of went bad for me, but at the same time, I was able to win $1,000, and it was just from going through all those bottle caps. I would go in the garbage cans to find the bottle caps. I wanted to win that so bad, and it turned out there was only 7 of them in the state of Alabama, and I was able to get my hands on one of them. So that was something that, just being resilient and just keep looking and keep working, and sometimes just want to can get you a long way. And as I got into high school, there was really 3 things that was on my want to list. I mean, that was really all I cared about. And unfortunately, school was not one of them. For me, it was sports. I was so into sports, I just couldn't even sit in class. I was just thinking about sports and playing and competing. Wasn't really listening to what the teacher was saying. And at the same time, this is when in the 80s when rap music was really big. And so I was Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, and I was memorizing. I knew every word, every rap song there was. So I would just listen to all these rap songs. I would write them down. I'd think about them. I'd make my own rap songs up. And then the other thing I thought about nonstop was girls. And so I had those 3 things on my mind all the way through high school, which led me to somewhere I don't think any of y'all want to go, and that's called Last Chance U. It's a junior college down in East Mississippi, and I was on my last chance, brother. I mean, I'm down there now, and my dad said, "Hey, boy, you've done messed yourself up. This is your only option. You better figure it out." And so I get down there to Last Chance U. We're going through drills, football drills. The first day I'm down there, didn't know anybody. Guy stiff arms me right through my face mask, pokes me in the eye, almost puts my eye out. I have to go to the hospital in Meridian, come back, and they put a patch on my eye right there. And nobody knew my name. They called me Patch. From Days of Our Lives, there's a guy named Patch. And that's what I was known as down there for my first month or so. But through the course of time, through showing up, through just fighting, working, being dependable, being tough, being there for the guys, I kind of earned my way in. Started getting to know the guys, started getting some respect. And so I finally got my old nickname, Dr. Death, back when I got down there to junior college, because it took me a long time, though, to go from somebody who had respect in high school to went to know somewhere where nobody knew me. They thought I was named Patch and didn't know what was going on, to be able to earn my place. And I think it goes back to the same thing as when I was 6 years old of showing up every single day, fighting for what you want, being tough, being resilient, not giving in, and never stop no matter what. And I think all those things helped me as I was playing ball down there. later on, when I got out of college, I was able to get a job. And this is kind of where I want to share with you today a little bit. I ended up at a great little high school in a little town called Tuscumbia that loved football, that I taught driver's ed. Back then, I had all my hair, teaching driver's ed. I got a lot of stories, hair gone, nearly killed every single day. I mean, it was unbelievable thing, but it was a wonderful job. Had a tremendous coaching staff I was a part of, able to win games and do things. And I had a hunger to not only do it, but to do things on the side, to do more, to do extra. And so during my time as a coach, which I love coaching, but I also like doing other things. And so I had a lawn service where it's called Coaches on the Mow. Me and a guy named Kevin Rose, we started cutting grass and building a lawn service. And then I started flipping houses and building houses and selling houses on the side. Somehow I lucked into a marriage. I got married during all that time and found a wonderful wife while I was doing that. And then opened up a business where we're training athletes and creating better athletes. And that's probably where I met Brent somewhere. He was student teaching and at Dexter, and got to know him a little bit. And he got him a coaching job. We kind of hooked up doing some training during that time. And then I was able to open up a party business with inflatables going everywhere and laser tag. And then I think one of the biggest opportunities ever came in my life was called Limu, that we got in together, network marketing, and hit it wide open, just like we did everything else. And it just absolutely changed my life financially in some ways. And so I'm at a good place. I'm having a good time. I'm coaching ball, and I never see myself leaving out of Tuscumbia and where I'm at. But sometimes in life, I think when we think we got it all figured out and we think we got a plan, that God says, no, this is not my plan. I'm going to do something different right here. And at this point right here, tragedy struck. Tragedy struck in a way that changed everything for me. Two people on our coaching staff, two of my dear friends, within a year lost their life. One was murdered and killed, and another tragically ended his life. And it hit me in a way that I couldn't even walk into our field house anymore. I couldn't go to work, and I had this sick feeling. And I just told my wife, I said, we got to leave. We can't stay here anymore. I don't know where we're going to go, but I can't work here anymore. It is just devastating to walk into work. And I had this sick feeling. And it was that summer that my son was at Mars Hill Bible School playing a baseball game in the summer. And somebody said the coach had resigned and the job had came open. And I said, Lord, this must be what you want me to do. And I pulled up, interviewed for the job, was able to get it. And I brought my son over to Mars Hill, and I said, we're going to come here and we're going to start something, and we're going to make it awesome. He looked at this place. They hadn't won any games, didn't have any good facilities. And he started crying. No, Daddy, no. Why are you going to take me from Dexter? Why are you going to do this? We can't win here. There's nothing but losers. And we got there, and some of these kids, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you're out here in the world, they had this look in their eyes that, you know what, I'm not a loser. I just hadn't had an opportunity yet. And they were hungry, and they wanted to be great. And it's just like we see in life. When you find some people and they got that look in their eye, and they're hungry and they're willing to work, I said, if y'all are willing to do what it takes, if y'all are willing to go and do things nobody else will do, we'll be able to take this school right here and build something and make something that I promise you, nobody will be able to keep up with. And as a group of 10th graders in Myra, well, Coach Smith was one of the main guys that I looked at and I could see he was different. And he's kin to Myra, it's her nephew. And he had that look of you can go to war with me. And I got them guys, and we got together, and they were different and built a culture around there now that we're in this shutdown, this quarantine. They don't even need me anymore. They're out working, they're grinding, they're getting after it. And I think it just all goes back to a mindset and a culture. And if you want to be something, you want to do something, there's nothing going to stop you from doing that.
Wow. I you just put a bow on it, Coach. thank you. And the biggest thing from being around you as I close is thank you for your time, but thank you for your passion. You know, people, we talk about the 5 people you hang around the most kind of make you who you are. And I'm proud that you're one of my 5. And your passion is unbelievable. And resilience, again, has been beside you. And as we're all adults and we've all got our thing in life we're growing and thriving at, like it's time for us to go realize that we're going to have to be resilient too in our effort to create excellence. And thank you for the inspiration this morning, Coach, as we finish out this Friday and go into the week, guys. Wow. I'm going to give away a book as we close. So this Unbroken that Coach Higgins said, you got to read. You got to read this book. I'm going to give somebody a copy of it, but I want you to type in. I don't think that's it. I think I might have sent the wrong one. But is that it? Yeah, that we're going to type. There we go. Unbroken. There it is right there. Type in #Unbroken. Somebody's going to get a copy of that as we finish this morning. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Miss Andrea Rosser from Southern California. Who's our winner for today of the book Unbroken?
Debbie Beard. Congratulations, Debbie.
Way to go, Debbie Beard. Debbie Beard, congratulations.
Thank you.
If you will, send her your address. We'll send you the book Unbroken. And again, guys, Myra.
Yes, I just want to tell Darrell. Darrell, I've known you a long time, and I've known what an amazing number 1 coach you are and what an incredible man you are. But what you said today was super powerful, and I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're very special to me and my family, and anyway, outstanding. Thank you very much.
How many of you was this big for today? Huh? I know it was me. Coach, thanks for inspiring us today. And as always, wherever I go, wherever I travel, I speak about you all the time. You're an inspiration to me. Guys, have a great Friday. Remember this, as always, we end the call this way. Find somebody today and make them have a better day because you showed up in their life, okay? We're grateful for you. Thanks for being here on this Friday, and have an amazing weekend. See you back on Monday at the Coach's Corner. Love you guys.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.